Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation by Railbookers of 5 of the best train vacations in Canada for 2021. And my name is Kyle Smith, and I am your host today. I'm the business development manager here for Railbookers, and it's my honor to spend some time with you today to talk about Canada, one of our top trending destinations right now. And for our many bookings that we're getting for next year, a lot of them are either Canada or Alaska, right here in North America. So we wanted to take the time today to take you through what it's like to go through Canada by train on the Via Rail, the Rocky Mountaineer. We have a great presentation in store for you guys today. I hope you'll get something out of this. And before we get started, if you have a pen and paper handy, I would go ahead and take note of our reservations telephone number at 888-829-3040. And then, of course, we have some handouts for you as well. And I would encourage you to download that and so you can learn a little bit more about us. Now, since this webinar is being done live, I am watching the question box. So you can put your questions into the question box at any time, and I will spend a few minutes at the end of the presentation to go through all of that with you. So now what we're going to cover in today's presentation is all the different accommodations on board the Via Rail. We're going to talk specifically about the overnight journey on the train themselves and what the benefits are of upgrading to a private sleeping accommodation, and why to book with Railbookers. We'll get into all of that. And we'll also discuss how Via Rail is adapting to provide a safe environment as we're navigating through the COVID pandemic. And of course, we'll talk to you about our top trending packages right now and how easy it is to travel through the beautiful country of Canada by rail. Now, for those of you that are just joining us, I'm seeing the numbers increasing here. We're just getting started, and we're going to be doing a great presentation on train travel throughout the beautiful country of Canada. And you'll notice our website and reservations telephone number at the bottom of your screen. So before we get into all the details, a couple of things I wanted to make known is that our entire organization is called the Yankee Leisure Group Incorporated. That's probably not going to mean anything to you. It's a privately held company that does independent train vacations all over the world. So here in the United States, we do Amtrak vacations, where our company is the official tour operator for Amtrak, doing business as Amtrak Vacations, and we do webinars for Amtrak Vacations every Wednesdays for consumers. So if you want to check that out, check your inbox in your email. You can probably find those invites. But Amtrak Vacations goes to our national parks, Yellowstone, Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, and many others, of course. And they do weekly webinars for you guys as well. So a lot of good information can be found there. And Railbookers is our international brand. Obviously Amtrak Vacations for here at home. Railbookers will book Canada Rail, Alaskan Rail, as well as Europe, Asia, South Africa, and Australia. And so if the train goes there, then so do we, is our motto, as we're one of the larger rail tour operators in North America. So whether you're looking to stay here at home or head up into Canada or beyond into Europe and all of that when we move out of this pandemic, then we're a company to pay attention to, because we can fulfill your bucket list dream vacations. Now, why travelers love us is because, well, several reasons, but with us, you can book everything 2 years in advance. We know there's a lot of pent up demand to travel right now, and we're certainly doing a lot of last minute getaways, but then there are a lot of folks that want to travel when it's safe. They don't want to have to deal with masks and social distancing and all of that. So then there's those customers who put their trips out, then for the next 18 to 24 months. And so please keep all that in mind. No matter what you're looking to do, we can accommodate you at any time. We can fulfill your bucket list experiences. You have freedom and flexibility when you travel with us, so we'll talk about that. Obviously, traveling by train is a scenic way to see a beautiful country. And of course, you can choose your own accommodations, and all of our itineraries are completely customizable. So with 24-hour support, no matter where you are in the world, if you're traveling with us or through your local travel agent, you'll have 24-hour support. We have offices all over the world. So you're not just making a reservation and then you're on your own. There's always somebody on the other end of the phone if you need to pick up the phone and give us a call. So what does Railbookers offer? So what we do is completely customized train vacations. That'll include your train reservations, your hotels, sightseeing activities, ferries if we have to do that. We do a lot of the ferries from Vancouver out to Victoria. For example, we do additional excursions. So when you're if you're in Toronto, for example, we can do a day trip out to Niagara Falls for you. And we can also book any overnight rail journeys, which we're going to heavily talk about today. So vacation packages is what we offer you that are completely customizable. And we'll go in through those specific details here momentarily. Now, this is our maximum flexibility offer. Now, I don't know you, and no offense, but I don't know who you guys are because you're general consumers overall. So I have no idea if you're looking to plan anything in the next year or two. My goal today is just to give you some ideas and get us all dreaming again as we're facing travel restrictions to a point and things like that. But if you are considering traveling to Canada next year, for example, you have maximum flexibility since nobody knows what this pandemic is going to play out to be as we inch closer to the end of 2020. But if you make a new reservation with us, or if you currently have one right now, you can cancel and rebook up until 5 days before departure, and there will be no change or cancellation fees. So the numbers keep climbing here. I'm just curious real quick, anybody here have a reservation with us already? For any of our brands, whether it be Amtrak Vacations or Railbookers. Has anybody made a reservation with us yet? I'll give you a moment to put that into the question box so I can see your response. But if anyone's looking to plan anything for next year, you don't have to worry about what happens if this pandemic plays out. We'll make it real easy for you, give you up until 5 days before departure to cancel in full or fully rebook at no penalty. So we'll make that real easy for you. And now our entire booking window is summed up best as 2 days to 2 years. So right now we're getting a lot of last minute getaways, and so we can do all of those things. So for example, if let's say you were making a reservation today, you could be on your Railbookers adventure within 48 hours from the time you pay, all the way out to 2 years in advance. And so no matter whatever your comfort levels are, we can assist you with making your next dream vacation a reality. So let's go ahead and talk about Canadian rail travel. So here is the Via Rail map for Canada. Now, Via Rail is Canada's official national train system. It's their version of Amtrak, in other words. And Via Rail goes all over the country. Primarily, Via Rail runs up through the Northeast corridor of Ontario, as well as Quebec, which is where I think majority of Canadians actually live. So a lot of these trains are commuter day trains from city to city, very similar to what we see with Amtrak here in New England, coming out of DC to New York and Philadelphia, places like that. These trains operate multiple times per day coming out of these major cities. So no matter what time of day you want to be on a train to go to your next destination, we can accommodate you. And if you look over on the Northeast there, we have great stops in Toronto, Niagara Falls, for example, all the way down into Windsor. And then, of course, you have Ottawa, Montreal, Quebec City, and ending in Halifax. So there's some great destinations over on the East Coast side of Canada that we'll take you through here momentarily. But the main draw for Canada when it comes to traveling by train is the Cross Canada Tour from Toronto heading west to Vancouver, or Vancouver heading east. That is the #1 popular route for Via Rail. They call that train the Canadian. It's that red horizontal line across your screen there, and that takes 4 days to get across Canada. Canada's a big country, beautiful too. It's one of the most popular rail routes anywhere in the world, and I'm going to show you some great photos of all of that. And so no matter what you want to do, if you're looking to see the Canadian Rockies, or just do a New England, or not a New England, but a fall foliage through Eastern Canada, we have something for you. Now, this is one of the free handouts in the GoToWebinar box. I would encourage you to download that so you can have this for your records. So Via Rail, what they're doing right now to maintain a safe and is a lot of different things. They've increased the cleaning of the trains as well as the train stations almost to an hourly basis. Via Rail is an essential service up in Canada, so they are running their trains daily as normal. They offer hand sanitizer stations at at very busy parts of a train station and on board the trains. They'll do a health check prior to boarding the trains. They'll just simply take a fever reader gun, whatever those things are called. They'll scan your forehead. I've had that done to me a few times. It's absolutely painless. They'll take your temperature and then you can board the train. They are mandating facial coverings on board the train. I wrote here, masks recommended. It's actually mandated. So you will, if you were to take a Via Rail train this year, you would have to be wearing a mask. Now, I don't know if any of you live up in Canada or not, but I would imagine most of you are here in the US, so be prepared for having to wear a mask. That could be something that they keep in place for a while until this pandemic slows down. They are doing physical distancing on board the trains. So they're booking them right now at 50% capacity. Now I realize that we're not really able to get into Canada right now. So keep in mind the context of our webinar is for next year, but this is their policies right now since they're still offering the trains. So they are doing physical distancing. They're booking the trains at 50% capacity. Makes it easy to do all of that. They've modified the meal services right now to prevent the exchange of goods from employee to customer. And the overnight trains will start running again this October as normal, but the corridor from Toronto, Niagara Falls to Ottawa and all the way over to Halifax are continuing to operate as a normal thing. Now, if you're like most customers that have booked Canada with us in the last few weeks, it's all about next year, and that's the context of today's webinar. So this is their policy right now. This will continue to evolve as the pandemic plays out, and some things may remain, some things may change. It just all depends, of course. So moving forward here, the key questions we get on webinars, on the phone with customers are, when is the best time to travel through Canada, especially by train? So usually Via Rail runs year-round. So June to September is usually the most popular time to travel. The Canadian Rockies best season for the snow-capped mountains and the crystal clear lakes and all of that is going to be August and September. That's when the wildlife and the plants are definitely the most active. The Rockies are also beautiful and less traveled during the winter, which offers a lot of different serenity and beautiful snowy views. So you can do our packages in the summertime and stay at the hotels and do all that, but you can also still travel through the Rockies during the winter months when it's definitely not as busy, but the trains still operate. So please keep that in mind as well. So, common sense here, May to September is generally the peak season, but that's when the weather's at its best, and that's when I usually recommend going. But if you're a traveler that likes to avoid crowds, maybe you're retired and you want the kids back in school and all that kind of a thing, you may want to consider September, October timeframe to do this as well. The weather's still somewhat moderate up in Canada. There will be snow on the ground. I did a Via Rail trip in the month of October a couple of years ago, and it was definitely snow on the ground, but nothing like December and January. But you can still do these through the winter months as well. Now, the reasons to travel through Canada by train is really straightforward here, because travel is not just about the destination, it's also about the voyage. So at Railbookers, we like to say the train travel is another vacation in itself on the way to another destination. And so the package that I'm going to include here for you is going to make that real. But if you look at the photos of the split screens I have here, you've got beautiful Montreal in the top left, you've got Halifax in the top right, Lake Louise, bottom left, and Toronto on the right. So you can see these great destinations up close and personal. So a package I want to take you through real quick before I go through all the train accommodations is the best of Eastern Canada. And this particular destination begins in Niagara Falls for a 2-night stay. And now, before I go into all the different details here, if you don't like to fly, because we get that, as being a rail tour operator, we get a lot of customers who would rather not fly. That's no problem, because Amtrak runs service into Niagara Falls. So we can definitely get you on a train station coming out of your hometown, your home station, wherever that is, right up into Niagara Falls. That is really not that difficult to do. In fact, before I continue, I'm just curious here. Where's everybody tuning in from today? I'll go first. I'm from Irvine, California, which is our headquarters and where I live. And where are you guys all coming from? Chicago, okay. St. Louis, Denver, very good. Boston, Seattle, Tampa, very good. Let's see here. Canada, okay. Fullerton, wow. Claire, you're in Fullerton, very good. Yeah, we're headquartered in Laguna Hills, and I live in Irvine, Austin, Vancouver. Very good. So we're all over the place here. Very good. Okay. Well, I just want to keep all that in mind. If you don't like to fly, you can certainly take the train right into Niagara Falls, and we'll have to factor that in from your home station. So the journey will begin in Niagara Falls for 2 nights. Sightseeing activities, the sightseeing passes, you'll do the hornblower cruise and all of that fun stuff. And then you'll head up into Montreal for 2 nights. Quebec City, and then the overnight rail journey into Halifax. And so this is a great way to see Eastern Canada. I highly recommend it in the month of August, parts of September, when the fall foliage is coming in. Beautiful scenery. The Via Rail will take all that in up close and personal. And of course, the major cities you'll see along this particular route would be Niagara Falls. You're looking at the Horseshoe Falls there. All the hotels we offer at Niagara Falls are right along this path, so you can get those great fall view rooms if you prefer. The beautiful city of Montreal, Halifax, and Quebec City, the modern day Paris is how I like to call it, known for its beautiful French architecture. Wonderful people live in Quebec City. They're some of the most friendly people you'll ever meet. And you can definitely get that French feel without actually going to France. So you can go right into Quebec City for that. And of course, you'll be on the ocean train, which will go through all of these major cities, providing you those beautiful, lake views as you're traveling on this particular route here. So let me just show you the map one more time. The best of Eastern Canada. It is a 9-day itinerary, and you'll see the fall foliage in a beautiful way if you decide to do it by rail. So moving on here, another popular attraction, what draws people to Canada is the Cross Canada Rail Tour. So we call it a Canadian Rail Experience. So if you're, let me ask you this, is anybody here really into trains? So I like to call train enthusiasts. Do we have anybody here who just really lives for train travel? There's gotta be at least 1 or 2 of you. We always bring out the best in the rails out of people. Yep, a couple of you guys right now saying, yep, I'm all into rail. Been on a train since I was a kid. Best way to travel by far. Very good. Okay, great. Well, I'm sure you know all about the Cross Canada Rail Tour then on Via Rail. They offer a fantastic route heading from Toronto to Vancouver in either direction. Takes 4 nights to get across country. So what I will say is if we get phone calls from customers that would really prefer more of a rail experience than staying at a hotel in a major city. So we created a bunch of packages in the United States as well as up in Canada for a rail experience where you spend more time on the train, less time at a city at a hotel. Now, this train from Toronto to Vancouver only departs 2, I think 3 days per week right now. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I think they're going to reduce it to 2 nights for the time being. So we will have to do a hotel in Toronto for a night, and this package is only available according to the departure date for the Canadian Via Rail. So you'll spend a night in Toronto. That's really a good idea. Just depending on where you're coming from in the States, I know we're kind of all over the place. Just get into Toronto, spend the night. The following day, get on the train for the 4-night journey across Canada. And we'll go through those accommodations in a moment, but the scenery changes by the day as you enter the different provinces of Canada. And then you'll end in Vancouver for a 2-night stay. We include popular sightseeing activities, We include admission to the Vancouver Lookout, a hop-on hop-off tour, and so forth. And so I'm not going to spend too much time on these two particular cities here. I do have a slide for it. Here we go. Vancouver and Toronto. These are great cities to see. Even if you're trying to avoid large cities, I would still highly recommend Vancouver and Toronto for sightseeing. We include that transportation for you, the hop-on hop-off tours. So if you've ever been to Chicago or DC or New York City, the double deckers, great way to get around a big city. So you get a little bit of sightseeing in before you board the train. And that leads us to our next phase, the onboard experience. So these are some of our most frequently asked questions. A lot of people don't associate train travel with vacations, unfortunately, but I have a feeling a lot of that's going to change as this pandemic comes to a close, whenever that is. So I'm going to take you through all the different accommodations here and try to make this real for you. So please ask your questions accordingly, and I'll try to answer them as I'm going through. But I'm going to start at the beginning. So on board the train, you have a total of 4 different accommodations to choose from. The first of which is the economy coach seating. Now, I know that can have a negative connotation when compared to an airline. It's very different on board the Via Rail though. So if you're going to go with an economy coach seat, first of all, your seat is going to be twice the size of a standard coach seat on any airplane. That'll recline back at a 45-degree angle and give you a little bit of a footrest. So you don't get that when you travel in coach on an airline. They pack you in like sardines, I guess. But on the train, very different. And if you notice from the picture here, there's no middle seat. So you're either on the window or you're on the aisle, making it really easy to get up out of your chair to, go to the restroom or go to the snack car. And now one of the perks, if not the main perk of train travel, outside of the scenery, of course, is the fact that you can roam the train. The Via Rail has multiple observation cars with the panoramic windows. They have a snack car, they have a game room, and you can go into all those different areas of the train at any time. So you're just not sitting in your seat the whole time as you watch the world go by. So economy coach seating, it's affordable, it's classy for its service. You have the ability to purchase your meals on board the train. You'll notice the menu here on the photo here. You've got very affordable entree options. Meals are not included in an economy seat, so that's something to be aware of. But if you're, traveling from Toronto to Montreal to Ottawa, and maybe you're doing a destination with us, this may be something to look at if you want to keep your budget within reason, but yet still benefit from train travel. Now, for those of you that are going to be looking to spend the night on the train because you want to go across country, whatever the case may be, the first upgrade option you have is to a berth. Now, the difference between the standard seating and a berth is almost tenfold in terms of the luxurious amenities that await you. So in a berth, you'll have fewer people, of course, because there's fewer options for that. But you'll have a bed to sleep on, as you can see here, and that is key here, especially on an overnight train travel, a full bed to sleep in. All your meals are also included in a sleeping berth in the dining car, which we'll get to in a moment. So you'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner reservations, all a part of a berth accommodation. And you'll also have access to a shower that, economy seating does not have access to. So you have to be at least in a berth or a cabin in order to have shower accommodations as well as your meals included with your seat reservations. So a berth is a great upgrade. The difference in price, I don't have an average offhand, but from my booking days as an agent, really not that much more of an upgrade, but you get a lot more amenities, so it's definitely worth it, and it'll just enhance the quality of your train travel. Now, a part of the berth, the berthing area is, or not the berthing area, I'm sorry, but the berth accommodations is the room car attendant, which will make the reservations for you. They'll prepare your bed at nighttime. They'll stow it all away for you in the morning, so you don't have to worry about all that. So a lot of great amenities here. But your next upgraded option is to a cabin. So Via Rail has splits them out. So they have a cabin for a solo traveler if anyone's looking to go by themselves, and they have a cabin for 2. So I'm going to focus more on a cabin for 2 because the cabin for 1 is the exact same setup. But a cabin Whether it's a solo or for 2 people, we'll have your bedding accommodations. You'll have your bathroom or your toilet and your vanity inside the cabin. The shower accommodations are all just down the hall, shared with the other cabins and berths, but only one person could use the shower at one time. And they have only one shower per sleeping car train on the train. So they're gonna have at least 4 or 5 of them. And I was on the Via Rail about 4.5 years ago. Didn't have to wait in line to take a shower, so very, very easy to do. It's a very nice experience. The water was hot, very good pressure, and yeah, it was definitely a fun experience. And Via Rail will provide your towels, a bathing robe, your slippers, and all that good stuff. So in other words, it's like a hotel, but you're on a moving train. And I do want to highlight the bed situation here. In fact, this was a picture I took while on a fam trip on Via Rail, what we call a familiarization trip to learn more about it. And the bedding is very comfortable, and I'm quite tall myself. I don't know if anybody here is tall, but we definitely think about this when traveling. You know, how big is the bed going to be? Because I don't want to be cramped up. At 6'3" for me, I could fully spread my legs and stretch out completely, and you know, the pillows were thick, the comforters were very comfortable. I thoroughly enjoyed sleeping on the Via Rail. Now, the highest upgrade you can get on the train is called the Prestige class. Now, this definitely is a 5-star upgrade, and but the amenities are excellent. So for starters, your cabin is all inclusive. The cabin is 50% larger than a cabin for 2, and the full bathroom and shower is inside the cabin, which is what it's all about right there. So this is definitely a 5-star upgrade. You'll have a standard queen bed, full concierge service available to you 24 hours a day. You'll have a nice sofa lounging area in your cabin during the daytime hours. And of course, there's a television in your room, as well as your own mini fridge that'll be fully stocked with different beers and wines that are all a part of your reservation. And now on top of the Prestige cabin, you also have your very own observation car and your own bar and lounge area as well. So you have 3 or 4 different amenities that you can't get anywhere else. Now, the Prestige class is found on the very back of the train. They represent the last 4 or 5 cars of the train. So you'll be cut off from everybody else on the train. You can only enter the Prestige area if you have a Prestige reservation. So there'll be fewer people. Somebody's here asking how many Prestige cabins per car. There's, I think, 5 or 6 per train car. So they're definitely spacious, definitely private. I know a lot of people are looking for a little bit of isolation with everything going on. This is a great way to do this, but you can still roam the train as much as you'd like. So those are your options when it comes to accommodations. Economy, there is first class, but I didn't go through that because we're really talking about cross Canada here. Then you have your sleeping berth, the cabins, and the Prestige class. So that's the full breakdown of the onboard accommodations here. So let's talk about dining on board the train. That's a fun, unique experience in itself. Now, the dining car operates like any normal restaurant that you've been to. The way it'll work is your room car attendant will make all your reservations for each day you're on the train. You'll wait for the PA announcement. You'll head over to the dining car. The hostess will seat you. You'll likely end up sitting with another couple or 2. They're also traveling by train, so a great opportunity to meet some new friends and talk about rail travel and share a meal together. And the food is really good. It's made fresh each day by the onboard chef. They're able to accommodate most nutritional needs. For those of you that are concerned about that, they can do that for you. You'll have to make those requests known when you order, which I'm sure you're already used to, but the food is excellent. So breakfast, it could be anything from eggs Benedict to pancakes, French toast, to lighter options. Let me see here, oatmeal, cereal, things like that. So you'll have quite the selection for breakfast. Lunch, could be cheeseburgers, BLT sandwiches, Cobb salads, you know, and so forth. Dinner is a bit more formal. You'll have lamb, catch of the day, depending on where the train's at. A nice steak, filet mignon, for example, with potatoes. The portions of the food are a little bit smaller than you would naturally expect. especially here in the US where food portions are just getting bigger and bigger. The Via Rail, it's a lot smaller in portion, but the quality of the food is excellent. And the menu changes by the day depending on what province the train is in, so you can take in the local cuisine. So you're not eating the same food options every day, especially if you're going across country, the menu will change. So that's what dining on the train is like, and it's a lot of fun. It's very classy and a great way to meet new people and just have that experience. Okay, so moving on here, I want to share with you another popular package we have, our Canadian Rockies Discovery Eastbound. Now this tour begins in Vancouver and will end in Calgary. So this is a 10-day program. And for starters, you'll arrive into Vancouver and you'll stay 3 nights. So we have popular sightseeing activities throughout Vancouver, hop on, hop off tour, admission to the Vancouver Lookout, and then you'll take a round trip ferry out to Victoria. So you can see the Bouchard Gardens, go to the Royal Empress Hotel for high tea at noon if you want to do that. And that's all included within our package here. And then you'll be on the Via Rail for the overnight trip into Jasper. And so when you arrive into Jasper, you will stay 2 nights here in the Alberta province. We include a sightseeing tour of Jasper National Park, and that'll include round trip transportation from your hotel. You'll head down into Lake Louise for 2 nights, or excuse me, Banff for 2 nights with a day trip to Lake Louise. And then you'll spend 1 night in Calgary at the end of the tour here. So there's Victoria in the top left, you've got Jasper in the top right, obviously beautiful Lake Louise there at the bottom. And we do have a package that includes an additional night or 2 stay at Lake Louise. So that is definitely an option for those of you that are looking to do that. And then of course you got the Vancouver Lookout there as one of the main tourist attractions. So you're gonna basically see everything of the Canadian Rockies as you head down into Calgary, all on board the Via Rail. So when it comes to customization here, now that I've shown you a couple of different options, so if you're looking at, like the cross Canada tours, whatever it may be, you can add on destinations. I know sometimes we'll get the request to go from Toronto to Vancouver, but stop in Winnipeg and then parts of the Rockies before you get into Vancouver. We can do that. You can make it round trip if you'd like, or book it all in reverse order. And of course, all the upgraded options to the different accommodations are all available to you. Now, when it comes to hotels, we can accommodate any type of budget. We have 3, 4, and 5-star options available to you. The picture on the left is Lake Louise, and you're looking at the Fairmont Hotel, which is a 5-star resort. And we can get those lake view rooms as well. And all of our hotels are right in the downtown area and not far from the train station. Since we specialize in independent travel, when you arrive at a train station in Vancouver, for example, you'll have to get to the hotel yourself. And that's easy to do. Take a taxi, request Uber, request Lyft, however you would want to do that. But there is no official tour guide when you're traveling with us. This is fully independent. Now, another popular package that I want to introduce you to is our Grand Circle of the Canadian Rockies. Now, this is a great program because this tour brings in the luxurious Rocky Mountaineer train, as well as provides you the overnight rail experience on the Via Rail. So you get the best of both rail worlds here. And so this package is round trip out of Vancouver. You'll arrive into Vancouver for 1 night, and then you'll have a post night. You'll take the Rocky Mountaineer through Kamloops to Banff. You'll spend a night at Lake Louise, and then you'll head up into Jasper, and then you'll do the overnight train travel back into Vancouver. So I do want to take you through the Rocky Mountaineer a little bit. This is a great train. I don't know if anybody here has been on this train, but the route it takes coming out of Vancouver, it'll go through the remote parts of the Canadian Rockies. You can kind of get that impression with the photos here. There's not a whole lot of back roads in this particular part where the train travels, and so you're going to see the wildlife a lot more up close and personal, and just get the beautiful serenity of the Canadian Rockies, which is a little bit different than if you were driving through, which is also a great opportunity. But train travel here definitely takes the cake in terms of its luxury here. So Rocky Mountaineer will only operate during the daylight hours, and this is not a part of Via Rail. They are a luxury privately owned train. The Via Rail is a completely different entity up in Canada, so keep that in mind. But you have two main accommodations on board the train. The Silverleaf, which is the basic accommodation. You'll sit on the lower level part of the train. Your meals are included. Beautiful scenery, of course, as you're on board the train, and all your meals are also included here. But if you are looking to enhance the quality of the train trip, I would recommend upgrading to Gold Leaf. Here you've got panoramic windows, the seats that go back at a 45-degree angle, and your meals are included in your very own dining car. So a lot more amenities await you if you go up to the Gold Leaf class here. And the panoramic windows is what really makes this stand out, because you can see up above as well as out on both sides of the train. Now, the Rocky Mountaineer only operates mainly through the spring, summer, and parts of the fall. So this is not a year-around train like the Via Rail. So keep all that in mind. But your local travel agent or us here directly could assist you with everything you would want to know about this particular train. Okay, the next package I want to share with you, we're going to go a little faster through this one because I've already discussed the major cities to a point, but our Grand Canada Coast to Coast. Now, this is a 17-day program that'll start in Vancouver and make its way east all the way across into Halifax, and you'll stop all in between the cities we've already discovered. Now, before we get into it, we can also start this in Halifax and go all the way out west of Vancouver. Depending on where you're at in the USA, we can do it either or, that's fine. But you know, this is one of those packages, if you want to go to Canada, you want to see it all and maybe never return again, this is how you would do it. You'll see all major cities here. You'll notice 2 nights in Vancouver, 2 nights in Jasper, 1 night in Banff, so you can see the Rockies. You'll get that cross-Canada tour all the way to Toronto for a 2-night stay, a day trip out to Niagara Falls, and then you'll go to Montreal, Quebec City, and then another overnight train into Halifax. And so Halifax there over in Nova Scotia, beautiful city. And so the package will end there, of course, and you could always rail back to a point, maybe back into Toronto or wherever you may be flying out of if you choose to do so. But you do have options for that. Now, along this particular 17-day tour, you'll do some fantastic sightseeing through the Canadian Rockies here. So you're looking at the Glacier Skywalk in between Jasper and Banff. So you're going to get out on this full glass deck where you can see directly below you and obviously out in front of you. A great vantage point to see the Rockies up close. And then you'll do the Icefields Parkway tour, so you can get out there on a full glacier and see all of that up close and personal. And we include these activities for you as well. So my goal here was just to give you some ideas of what traveling by train is like, the different accommodations, and some of our top trending destinations and packages right now. So I do want to kind of give you the microphone for a few moments. I'm just kind of curious, is anybody here looking to go to Canada in the next year or two, or you know, where's your next destination that you guys want to go? Okay, Canadian Rockies. A lot of you were saying that. I didn't know someone's saying here, I didn't know the Via Rail goes across country. That may be something to consider. Absolutely, very good. Ottawa, Quebec City, would love to go to Halifax. Okay, great, great. And so are you, I think the answer is obvious here, but are you guys looking to go next year? Or are you guys looking to go, somebody says anywhere, just get me out of here. I got you, totally understand. You guys looking to go next year? Or the year after? I did a webinar this morning, and majority of the attendants, the attendees were saying next year, but some were even leaning into 2022. So, okay, yes, a little bit of both here. Okay, excellent, very good. All right, well, I certainly hope I sparked your curiosity a little bit here. We try to keep these webinars basic and you know, just so you can understand the logistics of it. But for anybody looking to go next year, especially Canada, some of you guys are mentioning the packages here. And we do have some other early booking discounts that we have for people right now that are wishing to travel. Alaska, which obviously we didn't talk about today, but we do Alaska land packages on the Alaska Railroad. So you can do all the key parts of Alaska. Ireland and is on sale right now. You can save up to $400 off per couple. Somebody asked here, are these prices in US dollar or Canadian? It's actually both. We do have an office in Toronto, so if you're up in Canada, I know some of you are up in the Canada area watching this live. You can get those prices in Canadian dollar. Also online, if you go to railbookers.ca, you can check all that out. Our local phone number and our team up there will assist you accordingly. So again, one more time here, we have our maximum flexibility offer. So if you, in the next few weeks, if you were to make a reservation with us or through your travel agent, you'll have up until 5 days before departure to fully cancel or rebook, and you'll not have any, there's no penalties with that. We all know how serious this COVID pandemic is, so we want to make it easy for you, for those that are wishing to travel. Just a snapshot again of why travelers love us. We won't spend too much time on this, but we have customer testimonials. We move hundreds of passengers every year. I don't want to go through all this fully because that's pretty straightforward. But if you go to our website, you can definitely look at all the destinations worldwide that we offer. So if there's any two things you guys take away from today, let it be that you can travel all over Canada by train, or anywhere all over Europe and Asia, as we do those destinations as well. We do have some brochures that you can request online. We'll get those mailed out to you. Via Rail Vacations would be good to have. That'll be everything that we offer for Canada, and then you'll see all of our European ones as well. Now, our company is one of the larger rail tour operators in North America. So we've been on Wheel of Fortune, if anyone's a fan of that, USA Today, for example, as we brought home several travel awards last year. And we do have some upcoming webinars in the month of August that I would encourage you to try to attend if you want to learn a little bit more about us. On the 12th, we'll be doing Amtrak vacations. On the 18th, Railbookers will talk about Switzerland, one of our other top destinations, and then traveling coast to coast on the Amtrak on the 19th. And so these are all for you if you just keep your eyes peeled on your email for those invitations. Okay, any other questions here? Let me get into this again. All right, let's see here. Deb is with us today. Are prices cross-country in economy? Yes, that's correct, Deb. So the package itself will start with economy coach seating. We'll then have to upgrade to berth and cabin and all that and give you an actual cost for what you're looking to do. So the best way to get a true cost is to contact your local travel agent or to give us a call directly at the number below, and our team will assist you. And Deb, are you considering doing the Cross Canada tour next year or something like that? I'll give you a moment to respond, but I'm going to move on here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there's our prices in Canadian or US dollar, so I've already answered that. Let's see what else. Susan's asking about the refund policy, how far out until we can get all that back. So you have up until 5 days before departure if you decide to make a reservation with us. Absolutely. All right, very good. Catherine's with us. Do you have any information for travel agents? Yes, we do, Catherine, absolutely here. We do travel agent webinars as well. In fact, we'll be doing the same presentation for travel agents tomorrow if you would like to check that out. We'll have your business development rep give you a call later today with that information. Very good. Okay, anything else here? Peggy is with us today saying, I'd like the idea of going from Vancouver to Jasper to Calgary. What accommodations can I get again for that? Well, in terms of your hotel, 3, 4, 5-star options, so you can guide us on what quality of hotel you're wanting. And then on the train, you can do it in economy or a berth or a cabin. Those are your options. And I would recommend it at minimum a cabin. It's just going to enhance the quality of the train trip. It's part of the experience. So definitely get the cabin. So your meals are included, access to a shower, and much more. Larry's asking us, do you have any other additional training for agents, certifications? We do not, Larry. We don't have a straightforward training course. The best way to learn more about us is to keep attending our webinars on a weekly basis. And we'll reach out to you as well. We do travel agent webinars every Wednesday. We'll make sure that you're all set up for that. But thank you for joining us today. All right, are there any other questions I can address for you? I'll keep that up for a minute. You're welcome, Larry. So my last point that I wanted to make aware is when you're ready, we're ready. You know, we have customers right now that are booking our worldwide destinations for next year, taking advantage of the early booking discounts. So if you're wanting to do that yourself, you are more than welcome. We are ready to assist you when we can. And yes, I can, Lynn. Absolutely, we'll reach out to you a little bit later today with the travel agent information. So thank you. All right, guys. Well, that's everything that I have for you right now. So I do want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. And you can give us a call directly or contact your local travel agent. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 Eastern, and from Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So give us a call or go contact your local travel agent. So anything else before I sign off? Okay. Actually, I want to ask you all one more question before you guys all leave. Did you guys get out of this presentation with what you were hoping to gain? I realize everybody has different reasons for joining webinars, and I always try to toe the line between not saying enough and saying too much. So the more information you have for us, the better, so we can better advise you guys moving forward. Okay, great. A lot of you guys are saying that this was helpful. Very good. Very good. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time today. So have a great afternoon, and we look forward to hearing from you all very soon. Take care.